Welcome to Fish and Moto channel. This is episode 6 and we are back on the Guzzi. Today's adventure, we are going to go down to my local dealership and we're going to take this maintenance wrench off of the bike. As I advised you guys when I first got it, I did the 600-mile service, which is supposed to be 900, but I did it at 600 just because the gears were just real clunky, and I felt like the bike maybe needed some an oil change. And sure enough, once I did that, it changed the whole bike and the gears, finding neutral and all of that. So we're just gonna take a ride down there and pretty much just have them remove the maintenance wrench light, and we'll just be talking a little bit about that, a little bit about fishing. But first I gotta get some gas here, so I'm gonna do that, and then we'll get this adventure started. All right, guys, so I just finished putting gas, back on the road now. For those of you interested, I do put 89 gas on this motorcycle. It's basically the middle gas here in the United States. I don't put regular because I don't ride that much, and I just don't like regular gas sitting in the gas tank for too long if I don't ride. There's no need for the expensive one, but it's about $14 to fill this tank up, which isn't bad. Usually the light will come on pretty much when you have about, I haven't really tested it. I feel like it comes on when there's like a quarter tank left, but I really don't know, to be very honest with you. I've ridden it about 5 or 6 miles after it's come on and nothing, it rides fine. I don't know, like running out of gas or anything of that nature, but definitely turns on. And there is no gas gauge in this bike, so that's kind of a negative. But again, the light turns on so early that once you see it on, if you just go to the nearest gas station in the next few miles, you'll be fine. And I'm sure there's plenty more than that. I've done some research and they said that it's quite a bit, so but obviously there's no need to test that. So today we're going to be, like I said, going down to the House of Trikes, which is down in Fort Myers, about a 45-minute ride for me. I'm going to take you guys along to just kind of enjoy the scenery. We'll be passing by the Charlotte Harbor where we fish on a bridge. Yeah, these people can drive, man. Well, anyways, beside that, we'll be passing by there, enjoying down just pretty much Tamiami Trail, which is down here in Florida. Straight line all the way down to House of Trikes so they can reset our maintenance light, which it's not even that bright. I see it there, but it's not annoying, but it just, gives me a reason to take a nice little ride Saturday morning. And the weather's not too hot yet, but here we are. So the few things I wanted to talk about today were, like I said, a couple of fishing, a couple of the motorcycle. The first, I'm going to start with the fishing, just because this is a fish and moto channel, so we will mix and match once in a while with the motos and the fishing stuff. So do apologize if you're not into fishing, but just a concept I like to go with, and I feel like this is the best time that I can talk about the fishing in the area, since I have some time and I don't have to be worried about fishing and all that stuff. But so fishing down here in the summer, so you guys understand, like I did explain in my other video, where the water, it rains so much here from like June to like September, October, that a lot of these canals that we have here, the water just pours into the harbor. So a lot of fish just end up going south, where the water's more saltier, clear, and they just spend all of summer down there. And then once that rain stops, because for some reason here in this subtropical climate, once October, November hits, then it rains like 3 times all the way to May. At that point, it seems like the salt water creeps up a little north on the harbor, and a lot of the fish decide to come back up, and that's when the fishing gets pretty decent up here. So on top of the fact that you have to battle the rain almost every day, the heat, and the not so great fishing, it's not really a great time to be fishing all the time, like I probably will be once a few months from now. So if I do have a couple more motorcycle videos than fishing, I do apologize. It's just around here it's very seasonal. It just so happens that both seasons are at the same time, because when that nice weather comes in, it's a beautiful time to ride the motorcycle. but summer's kind of the slow season for most. Once I have my bigger boat, I probably will be doing some sandbar videos and just going out, things like that, so you guys can take a look at that. But we're probably going to be saving that for next summer, when by then I should have the boat upgraded and be able to access those spots much more easier than with this little boat I have now. Beside that, for those of you concerned with like the type of fishing that's good around here, you know, I come from Miami, where you run a mile or two offshore and you're catching sails, kings, occasional wahoo, tunas, things like that. That doesn't exist here on the West Coast. On the West Coast, you have a lot of inshore stuff, and you have like the tarpon run, which is March through about summer, and you have some decent bites like close to offshore, you know, like right off the beach and stuff like that. You can get some permits, you can catch kings when they're in season, Spanish mackerels, things like that. You can also catch like groupers and snappers and things like that, but ideally, you probably, to get the real good ones, you probably have to go about 30-40 miles out. And you know, I haven't done that too often, so I might be wrong, but I believe you might even have to go further than that, to be honest with you. So it's just, you know, fishing here is very seasonal and it's very inshore, and that's something that I am not 100% new to. I mean, that I'm 100% new to. I didn't do a lot of it in Miami. You know, down there was offshore trolling, drifting, and then the occasional hitting up the reefs and just bottom fishing and things like that. So I'm excited to learn that aspect of it. You know, again, I'm sure when I get the bigger boat, I'll probably lean more towards going towards like the beach areas and like tarpons and things like that, and you know, hit up the inshore scene in the winter. But right now it's just a real hard battle, to be honest with you, because like I said, I don't know the areas. I do know where there are some fish. I've seen them. I've gone out enough times already to understand, you know, where they would hang out at. But we haven't had that one day yet where like, all right, it's a great day today of fishing. But those days will be coming. I guarantee you that. And you know, hopefully you guys are around then to take us to look and see what we can catch in the future. But that's all pretty much I wanted to talk about the fishing, just to give a little brief description, you know, and explain, you know, how the fishing works here. It's just very different from other places, and obviously anywhere you move to new, it's always going to be, you could fish your whole life. When you move to a new place, it's like, you know, it's like buying something new that you never had before, even though you've done it. You know, you get a car, you can go buy a new car. The first day you're in there, you're going to know how to drive it, but you're not going to know how to work all the bells and whistles until you figure it all out. So it's kind of the same concept with fishing out here and anywhere you go. But the good thing is, you know, we can learn this together. And if I can help anybody on the way to see exactly what I went through, and hopefully a year, 2 years from now, the progress that we've made, we can all, you know, enjoy it and learn from it. So that's all I'm gonna say about fishing. Like I said, I didn't want to get too much into it. I know that we are on the Guzzi, so we're gonna talk more about the motorcycle and about just things like that, and motorcycling around here, and different places to go and things like that. So for this Guzzi, like I told you in the other original video, there's not a lot of people out here that ride these. I honestly haven't seen many, if at any, to be honest with you. This is a really big Harley town. For somebody that don't know, there's a place called Burt's, which is a Harley dealership, and they have a place next to it called the Twisted Fork, and that's pretty much where everybody goes for the most part with their motorcycles on the weekends. They have live music. It's a great place, so if you haven't been and you want to take a ride out in the Port Charlotte area, it's a great place to go. It's fun, you know, and like I said, there's a ton of Harleys, so sometimes I go there and, you know, they're very welcoming. Doesn't matter what you ride, but you know, you're just parked in a sea of Harleys and you're like, whoa. But at the same time, it does feel good to have something different. You know, people do ask you, hey, what's that, you know, or whatever. They haven't seen it or they haven't heard it when it turns on, and they're like, whoa, they didn't expect it. So it's definitely a cool thing, you know, when you go to those places like that. Beside that, around here, I mean, there's a lot of little, like what we're doing right now. You can ride up Tamami Trail, you can go like the back roads down Kings Highway, which we'll do that adventure, I'm sure, a bunch of times, going to eat places out, you know, kind of in the middle of Florida. Then you have, obviously, like, you can go right by the beach and stuff. But the thing about this area is you have a lot of elderly people, And to be honest with you, it's a little sketch. And the reason I say that is because, not taking anything from elderly people, but sometimes they drive all crazy, man. I've seen people make left turns on red lights in the middle of this intersection coming up, and like, I just don't even know how they even got to that point. So I try to be very careful when I ride around here, especially you know, when on high traffic times, which I barely do. I usually try to ride either late in the afternoon or during the week when people are working. But for the most part, it's pretty chill around here, you know. I'd ride here over Miami any day of the week. The views aren't the same, but I feel like the safety is a lot better. Got a nice little Starcraft boat. A lot of boats like that around here, you know. A lot of people here just, they love to sandbar hop and just beach it. So that's the good thing about out here compared to like Miami. You have a lot more like Stumps Pass and things like that where you can beach your boat and just hang out in like a little island, Captiva, Cayo Costa. So it's just a lot of different options here for the boating. But anyways, beside that, boats always throw me off when I see them. But yeah, as I was saying, there's different places that you can ride to down here. I've honestly been here for a year and I've not yet really met anybody that I ride with, so I'm pretty much a solo rider for the most part. I wanted to be a solo rider from the beginning, just to kind of get to know the area. You know, sometimes when you do those big group rides and you're new, you know, everybody's hauling ass and things like that, and you're just kind of trying to keep up with them, and you don't know the area, you don't know what's going on, and you just rather be just at peace yourself at your own pace to just kind of understand the new bike that you got and make sure you're dialed in. So hopefully here in the future we can meet a few people and maybe go some rides and you know, kind of do like a little bit of a group thing. So if you do see this video and you're Port Charlotte or Punta Gorda or Northport or anywhere in the near area, Fort Myers, and you ever want to go for a ride and you're a solo like me, you know, hit me up in the comments or send me an email at fishandmotochannel@outlook.com, and I'd be down to do it. Because like I said, there's not a lot of meeting people out here, especially me working from home. For me, it's primarily doing things like I'm doing now and then fishing. Wow, a dolphin just jumped out of the water. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is amazing. I will try to zoom in, but there's a dolphin putting a show for us right in the middle of the harbor. Yeah, he's eating some bait. But this is the harbor right here. This is the Punta Gorda Bridge. If you go down to the right that way, that leads us out to the harbor, and then from there, if you head south, you can go out to Boca Grande and then out to the Gulf of America. If you go to the left side, then that's the Peace River. You go up that, it goes a ton of miles up that river, and you get more of like that river feeling where like you can still catch snook, but you can also catch bass and things like that. Same way if you head down this harbor to the right and then you take a right and go north, it's the Mayaca River. So that's another river that you can go, and if you ever want to see a ton of alligators and stuff like that, man, this is the place to be. You go up either one of those two rivers and there's always gators around. It's pretty sketchy if you ask me. That's why I would never go swimming around this area, and kind of sucks, but like I said, I've gone fishing too many times where I'm just fishing and I see an alligator pop up out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, definitely do not want to be swimming around here. But beside that, this area we just passed, there's just not a lot of beaches. There's nothing really. I mean, it's just pretty much fishing, boating, and boating down to like the harbor, to Boca Grande and those places. You can go in the water to the sandbar, and then if you want to go eat dinner and things like that, there is a bunch of little restaurants you can dock your boat at out here, which I'm sure we'll do it a couple times in the future. So all these things I'm talking about, I will do my best to kind of show you guys the whole area. And like I said, if you're new to the area, or maybe if you've been here for a while and don't know about it, I'll try to find some spots so everybody can enjoy. But we are in Punta Gorda right now. This is almost all the houses here are on the canal, which is pretty cool, but I get terrified. I always thought I wanted to live on the water, and then I realized when I got older that I don't want to live on the water, and the real reason is just when those hurricanes come, this whole place gets underwater. And it's going to happen at some point in life, because that's just the way life works. Hurricanes happen. But yeah, all these houses around here, the majority of them are on the water, on the canal, and when a hurricane comes, it's just pretty stressful, and I don't need that. So beside that, what else can we talk about? Let's see. There's Destination Power Sports, jet skis, four-wheelers. They even have some motorcycles in there if you want. But beside that, this place that I'm going to, House of Trikes, pretty much they're a great dealer. I bought 2 bikes from them already. I had a Royal Enfield 350 that I bought. I just wanted a little urban commuter when I first got here, just to learn the area before I bought my long-term bike, to make sure that I enjoyed riding in this area. So this would be the second bike I bought off them, and they've been great both times. You know, smooth, quick, very helpful. They brought the bike to me one time. The second time I picked it up, which was this one. They're a great dealer to work with. So if you're ever in the area, House of Trikes is they have Moto Guzzis, Aprilas, they have Royal Enfields, they have used Harleys and things like that, but they're primarily more focused on like CF motos, different types of bikes that like the standard Harley dealer or like your Triumph Indian dealer, you know, they more focus on those products. So this place is good if you're kind of into like some different motorcycles. So if you go down there, see Alex, good guy. So again, I have no connections to any of these people. I'm just a person that started YouTubing and trying to see if I can get a channel going. So I know I'm giving all these people some advertising, and maybe in the future it'll benefit them, but that's fine. They've been good to me, and I don't care. I'm not here for that. I'm just here to enjoy the day and try to provide some insight in the area, fishing and motorcycling. So now what we're gonna do is we're getting here to the little long stretch. So then we're gonna be giving it some gas here, and then probably be back to you guys when we get closer to Fort Myers, because it is like a 15-minute haul in a straight line, and I don't want to bore you guys with just me yapping for 25 minutes. So let's give it a little throttle here once we get on this open stretch, and then we'll be back here once we get closer to the Fort Myers area on the next bridge. Alright guys, we are entering Fort Myers here. We're about 4 or 5 miles away from where we're going, so I just wanted to come back and you see my camera up there? You know, this has been like a test run with everything, you know, these first few videos, so bear with me until I get dialed in with everything, but everything is a progress and learning and all that. But apparently my bracket that I have to hold the camera isn't I don't know, strong enough, or it doesn't tighten enough for it to hold it up in a decent angle. So I'm resting it on the front there. We'll see what angles this gets here in a few moments. I will show you once I get to that bridge up there, and hopefully we can get a decent one of, you know, the bay or whatnot. But yeah, I just want to, you know, advise you guys that this is all like a new process for me, so I'm learning everything. So if you're a new YouTuber or somebody that just wants to get into all this, you can follow me and we can go through all these growing process pains together, you know. But this is a beautiful area out here. As you can see, there's no wind out today, the water's flat calm. But yeah, I wish I can get a better angle for you with the camera. I will upgrade my brackets for the front for the next video, but it won't be the first or last time we come by here, so I will definitely show you guys again. But this is a beautiful area around here. You know, anywhere where there's water is beautiful to me. So kind of looks just like where we were a few minutes ago, but this is about 30 minutes south. It's been a nice drive. It's not too hot, but again, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit here of the Fort Myers area. And we'll see if we can get maybe this camera on the way back a little bit better angles, more dialed in, and I can get you a little bit better shots of you know, more of the area for those of you that actually are interested in even seeing you know, some of this area around here, just in case you want to move, or I don't know. The one thing I will tell you about Fort Myers is it's not what it used to be, in the sense of there's I mean, just a ton of traffic out here. There's traffic everywhere. You know, Miami's gotten so expensive, and places like Broward and West Palm Beach, that a lot of people are moving out here because they just can't afford to live in those places down there. So but the problem now is that most of those places out here have gotten just as expensive. So everybody just keeps pushing north. You know, Northport is kind of like, was the second fastest growing city there was last year. I don't know this year, but it's still going at that pace. But it seems like the hurricane scared off a few people from moving here, because last year it was just, I mean, houses were selling like pancakes. So you know, if you're thinking of moving down to Florida, you know, the West Coast area, Port Charlotte, Punta Gorda, Northport is probably a good starting point if you really like want to have at least some seclusion. Fort Myers, Naples, all this area here, even Cape Coral, it's a zoo. I mean, it's really out of control. This is Saturday morning, so there's not a lot of traffic, but you come out here during the week on a Friday or any day during the week, especially during traffic hours, and this is bumper to bumper. I've done it before, and it's just absolutely nuts. But, I'm gonna speed up here a little bit after this red light and get over to House of Trikes, get this maintenance thing done. Show you guys when I get there, so you can take a look at the place, just in case you're interested in coming in the future or passing by, or any motorcycle needs or service or whatever. I'll show you what it looks like from the outside. But I'm gonna walk in here real quick so you guys can take a look before I take my helmet off. It's a nice little shop here. So if I do take my helmet off here, I will walk